Happiness? Serenity? What is that? Man, we're going to tell you. We're going to give you the tools here on No Regret Vets podcast. We want you to tune in every week to listen to the live interviews that are in-depth and raw with people that have been through similar situations with addiction, PTSD, all kinds of mental health. We want to build you back up so you can build the life you want. So like and subscribe to us on Facebook, Spotify, any of your social media platforms today, and let's get started with helping each other on No Regret Vets. What's up, guys? Welcome back to No Regret Vets. I'm here with Adam Gunther and Casey, our good friend. And we are going to get started today. We have been on some pretty serious topics, and it's all serious, but we want to laugh a little bit and try to also convey that there is fun in sobriety and stuff like that. So today we are going to talk about excuses we make in the program and reasons for relapse or reasons to use.
Thank God. When you said we wanted to laugh a little bit, I thought you were going to ask me to take my shirt off.
No, I don't want to get Gunther too excited.
Oh, thank God. I feel much better now.
Happens to the best of us.
So what's up? I'll just go around the room. How you doing today, man?
I'm actually doing pretty good. No complaints today. And even if I did, take it to my higher power.
Right. Yeah, that's the best way. I know that things have been a little stressful throughout everybody's life. So how you doing, brother?
Same, man. I've had some stressors, but doing well. Glad to be here with you guys today. And really for me right now, the theme is just stay in the day I'm in, because that's where all good things happen. So
yeah. No, for sure. So we want to, funny excuses are just things. I heard one the other day, and it made me chuckle probably more than I should have. But the gentleman had said, I used to celebrate my sobriety dates with getting drunk. And I thought, well, that's hilarious, if you really dissect that. But, what do y'all got?
I heard the same thing, and I thought to myself, it's funny because...
Oh, I stole your content.
No, anytime I start to, get a little sobriety, which I've never been sober this long, so I just lead with that. I'd get like 3 or 4 days under my belt and be like, okay, yeah, I can drink, obviously.
Right,
and then
I can stop.
Right, that was my justification.
Right.
And it would be, okay, I made it 3 days. I'm allowed one beer. Well, one would turn into 2, 3, and then being either carried out of the bar or hoping that I make it home alive.
Right.
That's definitely some truth to that.
I know that when I was drinking, and especially at the end there when I was functioning off, well, not functioning, but living off being a user, man, the constant, I would celebrate happiness, sadness, no feeling at all, anything by using. That was my treat.
Back in the 90s, I was in jail behind my drug use. Not shocking. But
we'll have that.
Retrospectively, I remember a bunch of guys and girls that I used to hang out with after I did my 23 days in jail.
Right.
With no thought of the fact that I was basically homeless and in jail because of my drug use.
Yeah.
We had like a Super Bowl party relapse when I got out of jail, to celebrate my time served. So
yeah, that's how mine would go too. That's the horrible thing. I'd get out and then it's like you go celebrate your time, you done your time, and it's like, man, now looking back, it's like, when I did relapse, when I had first started the journey to actually, get sober, and I tried to make every excuse in the book. Well, I'm away from my kid, I'm all this, I'm all that, and just the hindsight of knowing it's just going to make it 10 times worse.
Right.
There's no positive out of this whatsoever.
We're living in the exact opposite way that we should, right?
Right.
So I got 23 days clean.
Yeah.
And it's a reason to celebrate because I'm going to be able to do a lot of drugs and drink a lot tonight. Like, what?
It's going to hit different.
Yeah.
I know I can stop. Yeah.
A couple days ago, my wife, she's in real estate.
Yeah.
So she toured these people around. They didn't wind up buying a house, but they gave her a bottle of what turns out to be her favorite wine. And she's in recovery too.
Right.
And so, talking about stories we tell ourselves to relapse, she brings the wine home. She's like, we're laughing about it because it's her favorite wine. It's completely warm. She sets it on the counter. She goes upstairs after we're having a good laugh about it. I walk into the kitchen. I look down at the bottle of the wine, and I was like, I think I could chug that whole bottle.
Right. It's just a competition.
Yeah, I call a warm bottle of wine. I don't even drink wine, when I do drink. And, the thought went away pretty quickly, but it's crazy the things we tell ourselves, I was like, I wonder if I can chug that whole bottle of room temperature wine.
I'm just testing the
After
theory.
years without a drink.
Right.
Those are the crazy things that still go through my head from time to time. Luckily, I've got a defense against the first drink with you guys and a God that I can turn to. So it worked out fine, but it is pretty comical.
No, yeah, I think it is funny how our own minds can manipulate us in a conversation with ourselves.
Right. I've heard it said in the
powerful, baffling, and cunning, or whatever order that is.
Well, yeah, I've heard it said in the recovery community that the most important thing I had to learn to do was stop consulting an idiot. Right. Yeah. And the idiot is me.
Yeah. There's a country song that says, I don't take advice from drunks.
Right.
It's basically a mirror thing.
That's exactly right.
Yeah, man. So what else we got? I have 1,000. I just can't think of them at the minute. There's some funny stuff that goes in there.
The one I used to tell myself when my mom would always ask me is, like, when are you going to sober up? When are you going to stop drinking? And I'd always reply with this.
Mama didn't raise no quitters.
Exactly. That's exactly what I'd say. I'm like, well, you didn't raise me to be a quitter. Why start now?
Yeah.
Not realizing that actually quitting this, I'm actually winning and succeeding.
Right. It's that pride and ego saying that
exactly
you're not going to take me down, but alcohol definitely whooped my.
And I was like, my first day in rehab, they were like, oh, you smoke cigarettes. Do you want to quit that too? And it's like, why don't we focus on like one thing at a time?
Yeah.
But it is. I mean, that is something I used to use as an excuse. It was, Mama didn't raise no quitter, so take it. Just, drink as hard as I could. Whatever drug was out there, I'd do more than anybody else if I could.
There was also that ego that you got from what you thought was your friend circle about, you drink, especially when you're younger. I drank 24 beers last night. Like, nobody cares, man. Like,
right.
What are you doing? So,
right. Badge of honor.
Right, yeah.
Well, the badge, and it was, so when I was still married to my ex-wife, we had, a fifth wheel camper. We would go camping all the time. We'd always have one of my buddies with me, and he had his own camper. And I remember the first time that we really all went out camping, and nobody batted an eye at this. And this should have been kind of like the clear opening sign that, one, I have a problem, to the outside people. I internally kind of already knew that I got a drinking problem. I just didn't accept it. But in my camper alone, I had 5 30-packs for a 3-day weekend. That was for me. That wasn't for like me and my buddy.
Yeah, unfortunately,
that was mine. And like that was, again, another. I can drink this much. I'm camping. It's what you're supposed to do. And he would have the same amount.
Yeah, and instead of being a signal that, it could be many signals that I have a problem. That's a big signal. Or I can drink that much. My body has a tolerance to get to that deadly level that would, should kill me and is effectively killing me. And then I just spent that much money on all that alcohol. It's going to be gone. And none of that crosses your mind. Mm-mm. Nope.
Yeah, not to take it too serious here, but with those things in mind, the things that we tell ourselves before we relapse, the idea that I could probably chug that whole warm bottle of wine,
right.
or the idea it's okay to have 274 beers for the weekend. Right. Nothing wrong with that. What are you talking about? That goes to my delusional nature, the lies that I'm willing to tell myself to feel the way I want to feel. Man, I just want to feel good, and I'm super self-centered and selfish about it. And so I'm willing to lie mostly to myself, right? And so now, as a recovered guy in sobriety, if I want to hold on to that, I better not let go of that self-awareness that tells me that is crazy, and that tells me that the answer to my mom shouldn't be, oh, well, you raised me not to be a quitter, because those things are ludicrous, right? We're able to laugh when we look back at it. Or my idea, I could probably chug that whole one, because we do, man. Like, we lie to ourselves in so many different ways. We minimize the most important things, and I'm subject. Here's the scary part. I'm subject to go back there today. Right. I've got to stay connected with what I was like, have these conversations with you guys, because ultimately the benefit is it reminds me of how quick and how sick I can get.
Right. Yeah. And that's the thing. Like, we want to laugh and have fun here, but there is always a severity of the not getting sober in this program. And that's just what it comes down to. And it can happen in the blink of an eye. You know, I've seen guys since I've been in the program and stuff have 23 years and something happened in their program and they went back out, you know, and that's wild because then there's more guilt and shame and self-pity is one of the most detrimental things you can have. So we are just talking about funny things and everything like that, but we still definitely take this seriously and we're here for anybody. But what's some more funny ones that we've heard go around?
Caught me off guard on that one. I would say another one is you hear you know people talking about not only their time and sobriety, but like it'll be like one little thing will inconvenience them, and like it'll just you know we'll lie to ourselves that way. Like, right. Oh, I had you know the last 3 years has been great, and then I have a bad day at work. It must be a sign to drink, or you know you'll hear stuff like that. Other ones I've heard is, oh, I was in a good mood and I was in a great place.
Right.
And that seemed like a good time to drink.
So destroy it.
Yeah, exactly. So completely burn it down.
And that's where I look to Casey on this stuff, because to me it is, you know, they're just excuses to drink, and it's also the self-deception, which is the sober drunk to me. Because maybe you relapse, maybe you don't, but we're still trying to justify ourselves. But the key is now we have this other toolbox in there that can defend ourselves from ourselves.
Yeah, and I think along those lines, the self-awareness I was talking about earlier is the first key, but then the willingness to do what I got to do when I do see it. Because a lot of times in my life, I would recognize things that I was doing wrong, and then just go, screw it.
Yeah, no.
Right? So I've got to have a willingness to take action on that self-awareness. You know, self-awareness without
bills,
action.
Even like a simple example for me was bills. Like it started. I'll wait to pay that car note till next month. I'll catch up. We're gonna party today. Like what in the world, man? Like,
right. It'll be better one day.
Excuse me.
It's always going to be better tomorrow.
Right. I got time to fix this. I got time to fix
tomorrow's going to be good. And then the second thing for me, man, is just always like to stay in that place where I can be self-aware and find that willingness. Yeah. I gotta seek to make my spiritual life just grow and really stay in contact and in touch with that.
Yeah, we had even talked about let's do it on spirituality. And we are, and we knew we'd get into that anyway. But I mean, I don't know. That's been weighing heavy on both of our hearts lately. It's just because it is that important. And I'm not pushing a religion. I'm pushing your higher power. Like, it's just so important in this battle.
Just for me, the ability to be meditative, to look to something other than me. Like, I don't think, in my experience, I don't think it really matters who or what it is. You know, just something bigger and better than probably can't be a doorknob or a beach chair.
Yeah, that example. yeah.
Work, you know, I really believe in the, that glass I used to drink my rum and Coke in. That's not going to get it. But but there's, there's an ability for me to get outside of myself and realize that I'm not the beginning and the end of the universe.
Right.
And that's a big relief, man.
Right.
That allows me to get past those moments where, you know, in the past I would have chugged that warm bottle of wine, right? I remember one of my favorites when I was out there running and gunning was to have my ego really perk up when I was around a woman. Right. You know, I'd be clean for a couple weeks, and then she'd want to go have a drink, so... Of course I can do it. I'm feeling a little healthy. You want to drink, baby? Let's drink.
Right. And, and I'm around somebody. I'll keep it cool, social.
Oh, yeah. I forget all problems as soon as I need to impress you, right? If I need to impress you or her, a lot of times it was her, then I'm ready to drink in spite of all the consequences. So, I got to be on the lookout for that.
I'm glad you said that because that was, I think, a majority of my younger years was, you know, I'm with my group of buddies, like impressing them, the ego trip, like having to, you know, I knew in my head even, you know, at 14, 15, I'm drinking too much, I'm using too much. Doing it at all was an issue, you know, being underage and stuff. But I just remember that, like, oh man, you're a man, step up or do this. Like, I was internally peer pressuring myself and everything else, and just to my demise. In the long run.
In my family, and I know a lot of people that are like this, is I was raised in that you don't show emotion. You're a man's man. You constantly, you know, you just basically bottle it up. And
no pun intended.
Right, exactly, no pun intended. But My grandfather, one of my biggest heroes, he had such a temper, and that was it. That's all the emotion you ever really seen out of the man. And like, I remember even being like a little kid, if like I was scared of something or if I got hurt or anything like that, it was like, suck it up. Men don't cry or men don't do this. And at the time, I didn't see what he was doing. It wasn't until I got older what I realized he was doing. He's saying this stuff as he's drinking his Jack and Coke. Or he's saying this at 8 o'clock in the morning as he's drinking his Redneck Bloody Mary, which is a beer and tomato juice mixed together because he's recovering from the hangover the night before.
The mood mimicked the drink every time, the scenario.
Right. And when I got older, I remember thinking back, like, okay, maybe Grandpa was onto something. And that was, another justification to drink. It was, if he did it and he lived into his 60s, obviously I can't. Now, granted, he was only 63 when he passed away. And looking at it now, it's like, that's less than 30 years away from me.
Guys, I just want to put it out there. 63 is not that old. God bless. That's not 51, so that's no longer my target.
Those things change. I was even looking at it now. It's like I used to think 30 was old. And at 37, I'm like, dude, there's so much more. I mean, especially from this side of the fence, not trying to sound cheesy or whatever, but there's so much more life left. Like, it's not. And I was so dumb then. Now, yes, if I could go back with what I know now and be a young guy again, we'd be doing this interview from the Taj Mahal.
And how many of us had that Jim Morrison, Kurt Cobain vibe? I'm going to burn out. I'm going to die at 35. I'm not going to be here anyway. Who
I was
cares?
the guy that I'll pull up at the parking lot smoking a cigarette and beer cans will fall out of my truck. What's up with, just a douche. But I
remember having the conversation with like my friends and stuff, especially towards the end before I got sober. They were like, are you just gonna drink yourself to death? And I sit back and some of my heroes, Kurt Cobain, Lane Staley, these grunge guys, they are like what my heroes are as far as music goes. Now I look back and I'm as they still are my heroes. It's like I'm glad I didn't die at 27 years old or 32 like Lane.
No, it's sad to see that these guys did die. A lot of them did die from their addiction or related things. Like they didn't get the serenity or freedom that is out there, and that makes it even sadder to think about these guys that we do, and I don't want to idolize them because they're not gods, but respect, wild athletes and stuff that go down for drugs, and it's just, man.
But in the midst of my drinking, like what Casey said, I had this mentality of this is how I'm going to go out. And I was completely okay with it.
Yeah, I actually had two thoughts. I wanted to go out like that, so, the rebel went down, you know what I mean? Or I was hoping that I would die in combat, so it would be honorable, and he died on the battlefield and stuff like that. Like, those were my two options I had.
Here's where, gratitude for me right now, like as we sit here, like I did die, right? So I went and I literally drank myself to death not 5 years ago. Like I died on the floor of a bar 3 miles from where
we've all been Narcaned, correct?
Right.
So we've all, and that's extreme.
and so this is the same lies that I'm telling myself when I relapse.
Right.
The night after I died on the floor of the bar, I was back at the bar.
Right.
Those same lies they are.
Right. Yeah,
but not.
But no, from like, so, you could ask my girlfriend or anything like that. Like, I would be so sick in the hospital for 7-8 days at a time for pancreatitis, like on all these bags of fluid, like anymore, and got all that Dilaudid and stuff in me, and I was Superman. I was like, I feel great. Go back out drinking.
Can't see it.
Hours after being in the hospital for pancreatitis.
Can't see it, right? Yeah, leave me alone.
People are like, how are you so stupid? And you're like, it's not. That's not how
you don't get it.
Yeah,
you don't get it.
No, bro.
And
Sean and Brody get me.
Right, exactly. My buddy Jim that I buy crack with every week, he gets me. Exactly.
But I mean, it is. I mean, I've been in and out of the hospital multiple times.
Pancreatitis ain't no joke, man. That is the worst pain I've ever felt in my life.
I have not had that.
And I know God, it is. I promise you, I would rather take a lot of things. But that is painful.
You can't scare a drunk sober though. I mean, I've been, close to 200 plus days in the hospital, multiple, not all at once, but throughout a 2-year period. Didn't die on a barroom floor, but I did code in the hospital when they gave me fentanyl. My body didn't react.
Because you had lied about what you were doing.
I lied about everything else.
And you almost killed yourself lying.
Exactly. got diabetes, drank myself into that. I mean, got to wear the nice little glucose monitor every day to make sure I don't.
Yeah.
Then again, none of that worked. I still told myself, I can drink, I'm fine. So what I would do is because I'm a diabetic, it made sense to switch to Stag beer. Right, it's the diabetic beer.
Right.
Is it? I didn't know that.
Yeah, it is. It has like the least amount of sugar or whatever in it, and so then I just switched from drinking, PBR to Stag.
Right.
Yeah.
How about maybe we stop completely?
Yeah, exactly. That never crossed my mind though. It was,
Not mine either. Yeah. I mean,
try it again. Find those ways.
Let's not be ridiculous.
yeah. I used to I would for health, man. I'd be like, well, I'm going to cut out the beer and just have shots because that's less carbs and all this bullshit.
Red wine's
Excuse
good
my
for
language,
you.
but it really was. It is just, yeah. They say a glass is good for your heart. How about 34? Like that's not.
Right.
Yeah.
But I drink a lot of water when I drink. I'm hydrated. I'll probably be fine.
Right.
I have to tell myself that constantly. Listen, I drink a lot of water. I'm good. I'm not like that other guy.
I'm ashamed, but I would justify it like at the end. I mix my vodka with Gatorade. It's electrolytes and alcohol. It's the best of both worlds, guys.
This is what happens, right? We're guys.
Doctor.
My experience is we're guys that we like to get in the car, relating to our drinking.
Right.
We like to get in the car, smash it into a brick wall, or sometimes even other cars and hurt other people. And we like to do that over and over and over again. And in that environment, we have to lie to ourselves.
Yeah.
That's right.
No,
we have to be willing to lie to ourselves and
no,
other
you're not
people.
wrong. That's one thing I do.
Because they're like, why are you getting back in the car? Well, here's why.
Yeah.
I put duct tape on it. It's fixed now.
Everything's
I was
fine.
that guy. I was that guy for sure, man. And I've had several accidents, and when I'm not using or anything, I'm a great driver. I grew up in a family of race car drivers and stuff. But dude,
well, and even
it's
metaphorically,
like, man, what
too,
did I?
right?
No, it's just that just kind of kicked me back when we were talking. It made me sit back, and do what I need to do, reflect on that, so I remember how bad it was. But we can laugh about it too. Like it's not taking me down, remembering. So, but yeah, it was. I've ruined a lot of nice cars.
And that's where all the comics come from, right? Because we have to tell ourselves the most absurd things.
Right.
Because if we actually applied logic,
Well, they do.
Like,
I would have stopped drinking at 14.
Yeah, I hate to beat a dead horse on this, but they do say alcoholics and addicts are some of the smartest, creative, and empathetic people on earth.
I agree. I'm glad you pointed that out about me today, Andrew.
But the truth to that,
You guys are welcome.
Got me. Yeah.
we will definitely tell ourselves.
Our next show's on ego.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
What are you talking about?
What do you mean? I don't have.
But going back, I mean, we will tell ourselves just about anything to justify
Anything.
that first drink. And what is it? Is it one drink is too many and 1,000 is never enough?
Right.
So even once we start on that train, it's like there's no happiness at the end of it. There's that brief moment, that whole like when you're about 5 or 6 in, like, all right, I feel good. But then 7 and 8 start to kick in and you start to go down that hill again. And
Right.
It's like, now I'm back where I started.
Yeah, I mean, I had people in my life that if they were around me when I would start the drinking process to finish, they would know when that number was going to change, when he went from fine, normal guy to, oh shit, what's going to happen next?
I had friends tell me the same thing. They're like, we
Excuse
go
my
to the
language.
bar. It was a great time. We're having and then all of a sudden it's like there's that one too many drink. And with me, I was off. You never knew when it was going to be. It
Right.
could have been 3 shots in. It could have been, I'm 20 beers deep and 8 shots in.
Yeah,
And
but my thing with any of that is that now I sit there and I had these thoughts a few months ago, and that's where I had to catch myself, because it's not because I wanted to get messed up or anything, but I'm like, I bet, self, you could drink one beer and put it down and never drink again. And you're like, why would I even do that? Why am I even thinking like that? Why would I want just one beer? What is the point of that? Honestly, to even think that like, why? Like, and so I'm just going to throw everything I've worked hard for and believe in. That's an ego. And I'm like, shit, I got to get rid of that, man. And it's not that I was really hard thinking about it, but now I'm getting mad at myself for even thinking about something so goofy now, instead of trying to double down and justify doing it.
Well, or just for me, like the gratitude that the three of us are sitting here, right?
Oh,
and
yeah,
how
man.
did that happen, right? Something happened.
Right? We're from all over the country.
And so our perspective switched, right? Because we're supposed to die. We're supposed to die. All three of us were probably supposed to die, but something happened with our perspective. Like I don't tell myself those lies anymore.
Right.
I don't tell other people lies anymore. I stay self-aware. And so these are the things that I've learned in recovery is how to have this. It's really, I got a guy that kind of my mentor, he always likes to say, it's not the lions and tigers and bears, it's the ticks and the fleas.
Right.
And my recovery really is, man, it's this addition of all these small things that take me to this place where me who was supposed to die now gets to sit here with you guys and talk about this stuff. Like, what a freaking cool thing, man. Like, recovery is just like, it's remarkable to me just contemplating everything we've been talking about today and then going, hey, look, we're here. And I don't know about you guys, but I'm not desperate for a drink.
No, I'm enjoying that. And we were excited to come in and talk to you again, man. I enjoy the aura and the atmosphere in the room together. And beyond that, the fact that, we're from 3 different areas. And the reason why we're in this room together and laughing and our personalities mix is completely not planned and random, but it works because of the common desire to get sober and working through AA together and stuff like that.
Well, right. I was going to say, and that thing that happened, like we have this common thing that happened to relieve us of this, this obsession and this desire.
Yeah, I like how you're the way you put that, because it is. A lot of people look for that big moment. That's it. Everything changed. I had this big moment. That's it. I'm not that person, so to put together the ticks and fleas of this whole thing and know that that's what's making the body of this thing, that is the truth, man, because it's a lot of little things that have happened. There's not just one thing.
And it's work. It's not crazy work. Like, I don't have to dig up the Grand Canyon, but it's work, right? And I got to be willing to do these little things over and over and over again. And then you turn around and years have passed. And oh my God, what a better life for guys like us. And that's the cool thing is they are little things. So it's available to anybody. I'd like to think I was special. But there's millions of us, man, who have basically walked back the gates of hell to sit here and laugh about relapse and what's going on in our life. And for that, man, I'm just so grateful and really excited to be here with you guys today.
And we were talking about that this morning too, man. This is no moral authority. I am guilty and I have to do this daily. Just stop and be thankful for the little things, the opportunities you have now and stuff like that.
And that I wasn't found guilty for all the things I'm guilty of.
I'm thankful that there wasn't social media when I was growing up.
Ooh, baby. I'm thankful that I did a lot of cocaine before fentanyl.
Oh, no, yeah. We talked about that too, man.
Super lucky.
So many people get hot bags and it's taking them out left and right. It's wild. Yes, so there's a lot to be thankful for. Well, that's just no matter what.
That's a scary thing about relapse, anyways. Is and it was something I was actually talking to somebody about the other day. I don't remember who, but it was me personally. I have that mentality that if I were to relapse, I know myself. I'm not going to go and have that 1 or 2 drinks. I'm going to be that guy that if I do relapse, it's going to be, I'm hitting it hard.
Taking the shit
I'm going to think that I can still put a ball up my nose.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to make it through that first night, or maybe that first night, but I won't make it through that first week because my body, doesn't have the tolerance anymore.
Well, also, you know, that internal moral conflict.
Right. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do it big and grandiose because of my ego. Like, that's what I'm going to do.
But also because you know that you're defeating yourself a little bit. I know it was for me, but I know the kind of, like, how you are, man. You'd be like, man, I've worked so hard for this and all this, but I'm going to double down if I'm going to mess it up. That's how I would
go big or go home.
Like, and I will say though, the only thing I want to add to that is just I'm working with a guy right now, and I always told myself that too, right? Like if I go out, you won't see me,
right? And
there's some truth to that, but some of that is me. Like I have to give myself permission to be the improved man I am today.
Yeah.
Right, there's a fine line between ego.
Say that again, because that's.
I got to give myself permission to acknowledge that I'm the improved man that I am today.
Yeah.
Right, and so, like I'm seeing with this one guy I'm working with, fortunately, and this guy's like an IV cocaine user, like boom, 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 and I'm mentoring him, and he doesn't have a relapse that doesn't look like death, but you know what? He put together almost a year, and he did relapse. But I will tell you. If that's you, if you're in a relapse right now or things aren't going well, like we do grow spiritually. And if you relapse, you don't lose all that. And you grow your substance as a person in recovery through all this work and these little things that you do.
Yeah.
So if you do find yourself in that position where you relapse, you know, you can give yourself permission to come back in. Like, and I do
huge,
see
man.
it with guys. Like, I believe that if I were to go out and relapse, that I'd be off to the races too, to your point, Gunther. But at the same time, I see guys who, you know, the work we do, if you relapse, it's not all gone.
Right.
Like, you can come back in and join the fellowship and get back on the horse and just give yourself permission to give yourself credit for the work that you did do and let that matter so that you can get back in and find the help you need if that's you out there.
That's big, man, because that's how I was. You know, I had been in these rooms probably 6 years ago or so. And that's where I had to check myself too. You know, am I going to let my ego stand in the way of me walking back in these doors? Because who's going to remember me anyway? And if they do, it's because they want me to get better. It's nothing else. And so, you know, suck it up. I really want to be sober. I'm going to walk in these rooms where these guys might recognize, you know, yeah, we know he relapsed. And I do love the saying.
That's the worst.
I love the saying, you know, relapse doesn't have to be a part of recovery. I love that. But if it is, man, it's not over. Like, you're not done. You know, so, you know, for me, another 50% of that feeling was, you know, man, I got to look these guys in the eyes and say, I relapsed. You know, I had to look. But after doing it, it felt good. It felt freeing, and
Wait, the relapse or the coming back in?
The coming back. No. I feel free and relaxed. Never was accomplished because of the anxiety and the knowing what I had done. You know, so there was no good high. And, but yeah, walking back in the rooms and, you know, okay, yeah, guys, I'm here. And obviously I've been out, but the fact that the doors are open and the arms are open, and you will and can burn bridges if you don't take it seriously with certain people in the program and stuff. But part of the program is forgiveness and never leaving a fallen alcoholic. So, you know, relapse or not, the door's open.
Yeah.
Yeah. Recently, I brought a friend back to the program, and they were so nervous walking in those doors. They were like, right. Oh my God, you know, the last time I was here, I was actually drunk. And it was like, you know, look, ripped the Band-Aid off, and she handled it with grace. Yeah. She walked in, held high, and again, welcomed with open arms.
And I know some of the old timers get mad, but about, you know, why are you coming in here drunk? You're not ready. Well, you know what, to my mind, as long as it's not a repeated thing, and it's like, this is where you came messed up right now. This is the perfect place. Let's get you to sober when we can talk about your recovery. But right now, let's make sure you don't.
But there's a reason why you walked into that room.
Right.
You know that there was an issue.
Yeah, and the recovery places that I go are open to anybody who has a desire. It doesn't say anything about being drunk or sober.
Right.
And there's a reason they walked in that door, number one, but there's a reason we're inside those doors to do this. You know, that's the whole point, is the message.
Yep, to help. Exactly right.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely enjoyed this topic. I hope you guys did too.
Yeah, I did. I always enjoy having Casey. We are going to make this more of a at least monthly thing, just because we love having you on, man, and your insight and your personality.
I appreciate you, man.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah.
The biggest thing that I can say about recovery and just, you know, trying to have a chance when you feel like you don't have a chance is just, I have so much experience in my, I recognize this now, right? So if this helps anybody, good. I have so much experience in my life not being sober, so I get really uncomfortable with the idea of reaching my hand out to get help from somebody else.
Right.
And I promise you, everything good in my life has been on the other side of experiences that I was unwilling to have. Right. And so if that's you and you're just utterly uncomfortable with asking for help, I would just say, man, take the chance, take the plunge, reach out to somebody in the recovery community. And we do this together. It's kind of like WeHab, right? We get better together.
I haven't heard that, and that's going in my notes. WeHab.
I like that too.
No, but it's the truth. And, you know, like for the veteran side of it, we always say, you know, I've always got your six, or I never leave a fallen comrade, but it's the same way I see the program here in AA. So I want to thank everybody again for listening and my guest here. And we always give out resources. So Palm Beach Gardens Recovery in West Palm Beach, Florida, you can call them at 561-716-9150 and they can get you the help you or your family member, spouse, friend, whatever it is, may need to help get recovery going and start a better life, because it is possible and it's not boring and mundane. And we are loving life and we want you to love life too. So thanks for joining us again and have a great week. Hey guys, I want to borrow a few seconds of your time to introduce Palm Beach Gardens Recovery. Located at 860 U.S. Highway 1 in North Palm Beach, Florida, Palm Beach Gardens Recovery provides clients with addiction and mental health treatment, equips them with the essential tools for success, and instills hope for them to become productive contributors to society through the development of crucial life skills. You can reach them at 561-823-6573 or email them at admissions@pbgardensrecovery.com. Again, that's admissions@pbgardensrecovery.com. If you have a coworker, family member, friend, anyone in need, please give them this information and we will reach out to try to help them if they don't reach us first. Palm Beach Gardens Recovery doesn't just treat addiction. They transform lives. They dive into a personalized healing journey that restores well-being and renews hope and rebuilds families. So call again today at 561-823-6573. Palm Beach Gardens Recovery, the Center for Healing.